I avoid practicing frontside shove-its because I couldn't even come remotely close. They seemed simply unattainable, but I have been trying them here and there for maybe a few months, and I've made a few noteworthy observations that I'd like to share. 1. Pop direction. Just like a pop shove-it, you don't want to just shove forward at an angle. The board ends up bouncing back behind you in the opposite direction. And just like a pop shove-it scoops towards this bolt, a frontside shove-it scoops towards the corresponding bolt on the toe side edge, right here. So you want to be popping down and then scooping towards this bolt at the last second. You can see in these clips, I'm still popping much too forward at an angle, and it's just throwing the board back, which makes it a lot harder to land on because there's no way I'm jumping back far enough to catch that. I need to focus on a good pop down and a good scoop towards that inner toe side bolt. And similarly, when I just get a good pop down and I miss the scoop, it doesn't rotate. So I really need to work on getting a good pop down and scoop towards the inner toe side bolt. 2. Foot positioning. There are 2 foot positions that seem to be giving me decent results. Option 1 is with the ball of my foot right in the center of the tail and slightly angled. The angle helps me get a better scoop, and being in the center allows me to focus on getting a better pop down. Unfortunately, it does seem to be a little bit harder for me to get a good rotation here. So option 2 is to have my back foot in the heel side pocket just a little bit, but also angled. This has been a good spot for helping me get a better rotation, but I think I'm struggling to pop down here. Now for both options, my front foot stays in the center of the deck with my toes hanging off a little bit. It helps to have your front foot hang off a little bit so that you can reduce some of the friction it makes when doing the front shove. Personally, I have gotten front shoves with both foot positionings. I think I'm going to continue to experiment with both and see which one I like more and which one gives me more consistent results. But the truth is, I'm just lacking skill still. I need to keep improving that motion and building up that strength and that muscle memory. Which leads to the concept of deweighting. Just like a pop shove, I want to get as much of my body weight off of the board as possible before popping the tail. This will allow the deck to pop up and rotate as freely as possible, and it's something I've been working on more and more. I really want to be as weightless as possible before I pop the board. In fact, it's very possible that I am struggling with the frontside shove-it because I'm failing to deweight properly, and then needing more force to pop the shove-it than I have strength to do it. By far, the moment that unlocked any front shove-it for me was actually leaning back. For a long time, I was leaning forward and then trying to jump back, until I realized that it wasn't as simple as jumping back. My shoulders were way too forward to get a good jump back to begin with, and even if my feet got back, my shoulders were so far forward and heavy that I couldn't catch my balance. So I straightened my back out, brought my shoulders over the deck, and landed my first frontside shove it almost right away. So if the board is landing decently close behind you and just jumping back doesn't seem to be working, do try and lean back and keep the shoulders over the center or even a little over the heel side rail when you try to shove it. The only downside I noticed here is the desire to lean and jump back often affects the direction that I pop in. Leaning back makes me want to pop forward at an angle which I already went over isn't really ideal. It makes the board jump farther back. So my big challenge right now is getting that skill better so that I can continue to get a good pop and scoop when leaning back. As far as practicing the shoves go, I do the pretty standard method of trying to get a good shove and scoop and just catch with one foot. I don't care about the landing at all, this is 100% back foot training. And then I do a few stationary attempts while focusing on the back foot. And then I start to alternate between doing the regular frontside shove it and a fakey frontside shove it. One might be more comfortable than the other for you, so I think it's worth giving both directions a try. I just thought it'd be a good idea to work on both this time, and not really choose one or the other. So hopefully in a few weeks or months from now, I'll be able to get a handful of decent ones here and there in a session, but until then I'll keep going for them, and I'll be back if I learn anything more.